just like it.
Share their content. Like,
Share
comment,
it.
subscribe.
Right.
Like, comment, subscribe. Literally,
Smash that like
smash
button.
that like button. You have to
Yes.
share their content.
Yeah. And welcome to another great episode of Local Lens, shot right here, Riley Black Studios in Sebastian. I'm your host, John, sitting next to, as always, my lovely wife,
Crystal.
And today's show is extra special. I know, I say this at all the shows, but this show,
But he means it this
we're
time.
going to learn how to become millionaires. All right? Ain't that right? Welcome to the show, Daniel
pressure.
Velasquez
Just
of
kidding.
DV3 Financial. How's it going?
Yeah,
brother?
everything's good, man. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. We met Daniel through the Port St. Lucie Business Club Facebook group and your events.
Yeah.
If you're not part of it, that's the group you want to be a part of.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a great group of business owners. It's growing rapidly, and meeting you guys there was serendipitous because now we had the opportunity to create more content, and your platform is tremendous. And
Thank you.
I'm really happy to be here. So Riley Black Studios is where you need to be if you want to create content.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about DV3 Financial.
Yeah, so I've been in the financial industry in different aspects of finance. October will be 19 years.
Nice.
Wow.
I've been with my current firm now for 9 years. So I broker through Mass Mutual, which is one of my partners. And when I came down to Florida 5 years ago is when I decided that I think it's best if I started my own brand of DV3 Financial, kind of create my own identity. And of course, I had the blessing of my, brother firm or sister firm, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
They allowed me to create that brand, knowing that I'm, building a brand new community of networks, business owners, entrepreneurs. And I couldn't do that if I was affiliated with a firm that was in New York, because
Right.
everyone was asking me, wait, Mass Mutual, New Jersey, New York City, what the heck are you doing down here in Florida? Are you trying to scam us?
Right.
So I was like, I gotta create my own identity.
Yeah.
So it was something. Believe it or not, in 2019, I wish I had it to show you. I wrote down DV3 Financial like 20 times in different ways of writing it down.
Right.
So I spoke it into fruition.
Nice.
It actually was meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking before we started. You're a big mindset guy.
Yeah.
You're all about mindset. Talk a little bit like when did you discover that?
Believe it or not, it was probably August 14th of 2002.
Man, specific.
Okay.
What time?
Wow. Right?
My daughter was born at 11:34 a.m.
That'll do it.
Okay.
So I was 19 years old, and
Wow.
it was the scariest moment in my life.
I bet.
I bet.
So I knew that I had to be super disciplined at a really young age. So the first book that I ever actually invested time in reading and understanding, because you could read a book and not understand anything
Right.
you read.
Yeah.
The first book was by Susie Orman called Young, Fabulous, and Broke. Because I was a young father. I
Right.
thought I was fabulous,
Right.
and I was broke
Yeah, at 19.
at 19
Yeah.
years old, and it was scary. It was
Yeah.
scary. So I think at that moment is when my stoic discipline really started to kick in, and it evolved over the years, and it's much more intentional now. But I would say that August 14th, 2002 is when it really started.
Yeah, we discovered the whole mindset and manifesting. What did you say, about a year ago now?
Maybe two. So we, you know enough that when you're having a bad day, just everything kind of just follows suit because you're just in that bad day mood,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then this things just
Right.
keep happening, and
Yeah.
so you know that you have to be careful with your mood, because you knew if you stayed in that bad mood, more things would happen, and
Yeah.
so I knew it enough to know that okay, thoughts and mindset is powerful.
Right.
And then we heard it just kept happening. It just kept coming up, and it's really weird because it came up several times within days of each other, if not weeks of each other. The book The Secret.
Oh yeah.
And now this is not new. There's a documentary that's
Right.
several
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
There's a book
Yeah.
that's several
Isn't
years
there a
old.
movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, the doc.
the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah. And so we were like, okay, well, clearly we need to check this out because it just kept coming up.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, and then just little things like, there was one reel that I scrolled past, right? And it was like, you just certain things you said. And it was like, you know, say this and you'll find approximately $800 in the next 24 hours. And it happened.
Oh, that's wild.
And it was really weird. Like it feels like mumbo jumbo, right? It feels like, and then like it was around, you know, we just got like a job that was like booked for around that much money. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so it's just little things like that, right? That like, it's not always going to, I say I want $800 and it's going to show up. But what you say and what you do, it's just really important how you talk to yourself.
Yep.
You know, all of that. And so we've, you know, and I mean, we're all probably the worst critic of our own self, right? You know, some of the things that we say to ourselves, we'd never say to our friend or family member. And so it's like, why are you saying it to yourself then, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, mindset is huge.
It's so funny. I've even changed, it changes how you like listen to some music now too. Because I'll listen,
have to be careful.
I'll hear some music and I'm like, oh man, that's a dope song. I don't want to mention like the artist. But like I'll listen to their and I like the artist prior to like this whole thing, and then I listen to it again, and the lyrics I'm like, oh, this is kind of like down, like I get it. You're talking about like your rough life, and they're not even living that life anymore, right? Either. But they're talking about past life, and I'm like, you know, if you listen, like words are powerful.
Yep.
And if you even like singing the lyrics and like getting into it's like, man, you kind of like put yourself in that mind space of like what it was, which is great from a performance art and like the art. It transports you there, but you also don't want to live there because then you'll live there.
Yeah, I created. I remember in. And I'll take a step back to kind of go back to mindset really quick. So it evolved over the years because I've always been a reader. You know, I read books from David Goggins, Jocko Willink, Mel Robbins, Lewis Howes, Peter Attia, podcasts that, you know, Alex Hermosi, you know, those are all great, you know, entrepreneurs and people who really believe in the power of the mind, right?
Right.
And obviously the OG Tony Robbins. I mean, he's like the best of the best of all of them.
Yeah.
But over the years it evolved, and then December 10th of 2010, it changed again when I had my son, and at that moment is when the behavior or the practice of stoicism took a different meaning for me, because now I was not only being a stoic for me, my wife, Delilah, and my daughter, Destiny, but then now I have a little man that I have to be an example to, because, you know, now you have a young lady who is going to look for you to nurture her, to take care of her, to protect her. And now you have a son who's going to look for you to be the example of a man. And that completely changed my mindset once again. So, you know, I think if you work on the way that you handle situations and the way that you react to certain situations, if you really work on that and work on yourself and sharpen your skills, I don't think there's any situation that you can't like overcome, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, financial. I think the way that you approach situations is what's really going to dictate the next few chapters in your life.
Yeah. What was that one that we saw the other day where he said, I'm always winning? And he talked about like bad things that happened to him, right? And he was like, no, it's a win because now I say something happened with his car. Well, now I let that car go that was a burden financially, or like turning every negative into a positive. And like what you said, it's you can't really control what happens to you per se, but you can control how you react to it. Can I let this ruin my day? Or can I just handle the situation and, you know, go through the motions and do what I got to do and not let it snowball.
Tim Grover talks about that in his book Relentless and his book Winning. He talks about that. He talks about every action or every item that you need to address, every situation is the most important situation. So it's, you know, he talks about rules in his book, and every rule is rule number one. It's very strange. Like you would think that there's like a list of 10, but his 10 are every single rule is number one because they're all important. So it's almost like saying that I think I put a post the other day talking about being really present. Right.
Yeah.
So when I'm with my wife, she gets all of me, not just part of me.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Right.
I saw
and
that
then
post.
and then when I'm with my kids, I'm super intentional because those moments I'll never get them back.
Right.
That's believe it or not, that's a completely different side of mindset. There's the business. There's the personal growth, but then there's the dynamic of family and the mindset you have to be in. Your mind has to shift and be in every situation, even in social settings like this when we're having a good time creating a podcast, right? Like we're here having a conversation, but your mind has to be super present at that moment. And the way that you answer questions and ask questions is very, very intentional and different. So it's just being a master of your mind.
Yeah, it's true because
still a journey.
I mean, the reason we're even here in Sebastian, just like us, is a shifted mindset. Because I came from a news background, and that atmosphere was changing.
It wasn't a good fit.
It wasn't. It was no longer conducive to having a young family because our boys are 4 and 8. So I knew something had to change. So we had a number in our head, a goal for me to be able to exit news and go on the freelance side of things, right?
Yeah.
And then things just happened, and it almost all once we said this is our goal and this is what we need to work for to better our family, everything else kind of just fell into place. And we found a house up here.
Well, and there was negatives, right? Because what actually pushed us into this was a situation with our house. We got dropped from our insurance, and then we had to go with Citizens state insurance, and so our insurance went up over $4,000 a year.
It was during that
how are we
time
gonna afford this?
Where I forget what storm hit the west coast of Florida, because I remember I went there to report it. I forgot the name of the storm.
This was before 2020, before I got down here, right?
No, this was
after a few years ago.
22,
Oh,
23.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that year there was I can't believe I blank on what storm hit the West Coast. Fort
Sarasota
Fort Myers.
and
Fort
Myers.
Myers,
Oh, wow.
that area. Because I remember going
that.
down there to report. So after that, insurance companies, a few pulled and a few closed down. So it left less options.
The entire
and
state
the insurance and they were all scared to insure, and we had an older house. So we got dropped. We offered to redo our roof because that was their stipulation to drop us. They said not enough, so it ballooned our payment. And we said, well, what are we gonna do? We helped a friend move up here to VLE.
Fell in love with it.
Fell in love with the area. We're we spoke to her realtor and said, hey, what would it take? She came down. She looked at our house. She looked up here. She's like, it's doable.
Nice.
And then we hit that number.
That number came
by
after
selling the
everything
house
when we
down
sold the
there
house.
And buying a cheaper home up here.
Everything happens for a
We
reason.
had that
Every situation that happens to you happens because it's supposed to happen to you.
Because we're like, oh my God, are we going to lose our house? How are we going to pay for this? Like, it's terrifying. And then all of a sudden you're like, 3 months go by and you're like, oh, that's
and it's crazy because when I talk with clients, like they have very similar stories and concerns. It's one thing or another. It's either going to be something a drastic event that occurred that triggered them to have to make a really tough decision, or it's something like putting your kid through college and figuring out, hey, how am I going to put my child through college so I can give them the opportunity of getting an education and having a career, while at the same time navigating my own personal career so I could retire at some point. And that's real life. But then on top of thinking of all that, I'm only seeing it from one perspective, right? Because I'm sitting on this side of the screen or table if I'm meeting them in person. But they're experiencing it on one side. Now, the benefit that I have is that I've experienced that throughout my own life. So I'm speaking from experience, not just mathematically from a financial perspective. I'm also experiencing it from a personal perspective, moving down from New Jersey, selling everything we had over there, coming down here, living with my brother-in-law in Tampa for like 3 months and sleeping on the floor in his house, figuring out, hey, when are they going to be done with the house that we have to move into? Like all of that happens for a reason. And then you're thinking all the same things that everyone thinks is, oh man, am I gonna have enough money to pay this, to pay that? What are the expenses that I should like think about?
Are we making the right decision?
Yeah, are we making the right decision? It's scary.
Yeah,
it's
terrifying.
scary. I'm sure that the situation for you guys, okay, our house was not destroyed by a flood,
right?
But because this happened on our side, we got forced to make a very uncomfortable decision. But life's about being comfortable making uncomfortable decisions or being in uncomfortable situations, right? Again, that goes back.
Was it getting comfortable with being uncomfortable?
Yeah, that goes back to having a stoic mindset.
Right.
It's like any situation you're in, your reaction to it should be equally as intentional. It's either you're going to react to it in an emotional way or in a very strategic, pragmatic way.
Right.
But either way, you show absolutely no emotion where you lose control. Like you show the emotion of control and that you're going to handle the situation despite how it's going to show up or how
I don't know how I'm going to do it,
and
but I'm going to do it.
You just got to get it done.
Yeah,
you just got to get it done. And and listen, not to go on a tangent, but our generation is probably in one. And again, I'm sure there's generations like the Great Depression that probably suffered a lot more than we did, right? But modern problems, right? Modern problems occur. Our generation has suffered many more economic distress on our livelihood than any other generation. Like if you think about it, you guys remember the .com bubble.
Yeah.
Then
remember the
2001.
housing crisis.
Right.
Then 2008.
Yeah.
Then 2020.
Yeah.
Right. So
and then whatever you call this now,
whatever, and now it's just so, you know what it is? And I believe this is just my opinion, right? It's not factual because I haven't done the research. I just think it's just a lot of information coming at us at the same time. It becomes difficult to discern what to focus on. Like it's really, really challenging to do that. And that affects people's ability to make sound financial decisions because they don't know what to listen to.
Right.
Yeah.
So in our generation, if you're between the ages of 35 and 55, you have a very vivid, clear experience of 2000, 2001, 2008, 2020, tech evolution, now AI. So we went through tech evolution because we had no cell phones in high school. And then we have all these phones that are smarter than us. Now we're going through an AI revolution. Our generation has been through more change in the last 25 years than any other generation I could think of.
I think before it was like the automotive. Like a car. It was like the biggest.
That was the biggest
change.
evolution.
And
so now we went through cell phone evolution,
internet
evolution.
I remember
AI
when the internet
evolution.
didn't
just
exist.
technology.
In our 50s, we're going to be like, all right, we've been through too much. We're done.
Right.
That's it. I don't want to go through anymore.
I'm there now. Can we just like slow down for a minute?
Can we slow down?
So I can catch up?
It's a lot. It's a lot of information. I feel bad for like my daughter who's 23 years old. I feel bad for her because she grew up when technology was rapidly improving. I knew how to control myself because I knew what it was to not have it. She doesn't know what it is not to have it. And then my son he now knows how to navigate in technology because he grew up in it when it was right at the peak, and he's used to that. That's his brain molded to be able to navigate that
shows me
and have control.
It's
wild.
We tried to limit screen time for our kids now, again, because of that mindset. We know what it was before then. But I'm always remembering, I think I heard Gary Vee say, at this time, this is the least amount of screen time that they're going to have.
Oh, yeah.
Whether we limit it or not, this is the least amount of screen time because they still play and they still do everything. And if we think about ourselves, especially in business, we're always either on the computer answering emails.
My phone tells me all the time. I've had
laptops,
an average of
iPods,
12 hours on.
Or iPad. iPod is old.
Exactly.
It is.
Now
Showing
it's
your
old.
age.
Right. But there's so much more technology and it's just getting better and it's even more so integrating into our everyday. It's only a matter of time before the glasses replace the cell phone.
Yeah. I definitely see that happening. But you know what? It's like, to tie it back to the way that people make financial decisions. Back then, I remember, I want to say I was 10, maybe 11. My mother's sister, her older sister, took me and my two sisters to a bank to get us a savings account.
Wow.
And they taught us the little books on how to you know. So I remember seeing
Balancing
that
your
number.
checkbook?
No, I never learned how to balance a checkbook.
Okay.
But I did learn anytime I would get money. So my dad's friend. So when I was growing up, really quick. So when I was growing up, I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, right? And my dad, God rest his soul, he passed of cancer in 2020. But my dad was your typical old school Puerto Rican man who had a very good grasp on how to be a great father, but also how to be very social with his friends in the street, because he was a product of his environment and of his time, right? So all his friends, when we would go out, his friends would see me and everybody would give me like $1 or $5 or this and that. So I would tell my mother, can I go to that place so that I could put the money in the book? I didn't know what it was called, bank.
Right.
Yeah.
So I could put the money in the book. So she would have to wait for her sister to take us to the bank so we could put the money in the book. And I would always see the number go up, like the number.
Nice.
And I would just be like, oh, it went up again.
Yeah.
Oh, it went up again.
Yeah.
Again, I did not know the concept of what was happening.
Right.
I just knew that, wait, every time I put money in here, this book changes.
Right.
But I didn't know the connection.
Right.
I just thought that when I put the money in, the money was in the book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So all I had to do was show somebody the book and I could buy something. That's the way I thought it was.
Yeah.
That was my first experience with money.
So how does all of this, the mindset, I mean, even down to Port St. Lucie Business Club, how does all of this go into your financial practice and your clients and, you know?
That's a really good question. So I'll answer the question first on the client process, right? So I am a big advocate, especially in my own planning practice with my clients, is that we plan with clarity, we plan with purpose, and we plan with intention, right? And the reason I am a huge advocate of those three pillars is because when we're sitting down, then we're discussing just your overall financial concerns, things that keep you up at night. You want to be really clear as to what the end goal is. What does that goal or that vision look like? Whether it's retirement, whether it's short-term goal, right? You want to be very clear. You want to have clarity, but you also want to be really clear and accept the fact as to where you are today.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to really know the X-ray. Where are you today, right? So that's the clear part, right? Being very, very clear. Then anything that you do moving forward, you need to do it with purpose. There needs to be a purpose behind every goal you set. I'll give you an example. Something short term, like my daughter wants to buy a car, right? And of course, dad's going to help her.
Right.
But she needs to also take the responsibility that you have to come down with some of the money for the down payment too, right? And be very clear as to how much you need. And when you work that you're saving the money, the purpose is to purchase a vehicle, and that you're working with the intention, which is the third pillar, of getting that vehicle. So that's just one very simple example. Of course, as you grow older, you have a family, your financial situation gets much more complex.
Yeah.
So clarity, and then you do everything with absolute purpose. And then as you're doing it, right, every saving strategy, every recommendation has a purpose behind it. Your actions need to be intentional.
Yeah.
So the reason that I'm taking this action of let's say running a podcast studio and generating revenue by providing value to my audiences and my business owners, that revenue is coming in, and the intention is for me to use that to create purposefulness in my life so that my vision becomes clearer. So, you know, there's finances get you very anxious, and it's very difficult and uncomfortable to have those conversations. But the more you have them, the more comfortable you get being uncomfortable, the much clearer your goals are, the more purposefulness, more purposeful you are, and the more intentional you are.
Yeah.
Now, to dive into the Port St. Lucie Business Club, when I came down here that I started my brand, to start rebranding myself, introducing myself to the community, I wanted to start a group, but I wasn't getting a lot of traction. I would go to all these events, all these networking groups, chambers, but I wasn't getting,
like something
there's very
missing.
cliquey. There was something missing. But I always knew that I was always very good at bringing in an audience and like building relationships. And kind of cross-pollinating. What is it? Cross-pollinating. I don't even know how to say the word. Pollinating.
There you go.
So I was always very good at identifying power partners and strategic alliances. I was always really good at that. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, one day I'm sitting on my laptop and literally on Google, I put business clubs in Port St. Lucie. And the first one that comes up is the Port St. Lucie Business Club. So then I wanted to see who was in charge of that page.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached out to Nick and I said, Nick, let's do this together. Now, he just wanted to have a Facebook group.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I met him at the Starbucks in Tradition in Port St. Lucie. And I said, we should do in-person events. He's like, oh, logistically, it's a lot. I was like, look. I said, listen, it is a lot, but I got your back because I have experience doing this in Jersey.
Yeah.
You know, let me help you out.
Right.
And he told me that I was the only person that ever met him that was willing to help with no expectation of anything in return.
Right.
And that's just the way I've always been.
Yeah.
I always give without expecting anything back.
When you get it, you get back in the other ways, right? You get back in the success, you get back in the relationships that you make. You know what I mean?
You know what really I find rewarding for me, and this might sound cheesy, I really find it rewarding the value that someone gets by having a relationship with me.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool to see that someone says, Danny, after speaking to you, it inspired me to do X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
After just being around you, it's like you fired me up to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Even though it doesn't directly monetarily benefit me at the moment,
it feels good.
It's a great feeling to be able to help someone.
Yeah.
Right?
I call it like emotional payment.
Yeah.
We had just a few weekends ago, we went to an event and, you know, we were teaching people things, you know, content creation, and people turned around and immediately after the day of classes was over was putting some of those things into action. And then the next day they were showing us their, you know, the Facebook insights or whatever. Oh, look how many views I got. Look how many comments I got. Some people were like monetized. They're like, look, I made $1 or $2 on this post. And like they were taking what we said and putting it into action immediately and then seeing immediate results. Were they groundbreaking results? No, not yet. But like it was a start. It was better than they had received before. And it was like, wow, that was that emotional payment. You know, it's like
the wave starts with a ripple. The ripple starts with a small little pebble hitting the water. So that you created that ripple effect, and that might turn into something
motivated
absolutely
us too.
amazing.
It's like, oh man, like look at them taking what we say, and like, you know, we're all like.
Yeah, it was
we know what to do, but don't always do it.
It was both validating and empowering at the same time.
Yeah, and I think again, the takeaway of all that was that when I met Nick, I said, we can build something together to provide value to all the business owners. Everyone. Here's the thing: most people find it difficult to give back first.
Yes.
Without the expectation of something in return. That's very difficult for some people. Because I get it. Everyone's situation is very unique, very different. And it's not a money thing. It's just that sometimes people can't see beyond the immediate production of business or revenue. People can't see beyond that. They don't see the big picture. And I think that's what sets me and Nick apart. We're yin and yang because he's very good at what he does, but he is not very good at certain areas that I compliment him in. So I'm very good at certain things that he's bad at, and vice versa. So we work really well, and we hold each other accountable. Like him and I will have arguments and discussions, but they're all to improve not just us individually as business owners, because he has Earnworthy, right? That's his business, right? And I have DV3 Financial, right? So we help each other kind of, you know, improve our own independent practices. But through that, it helps us build an asset, an entity that is giving back to the community. So that's to tell you that story on the Port St. Lucie Business Club. But I think the journey over the last 2.5 years, well, I've learned so much. I've learned so much, man.
Yeah, I joined when it was right before you started doing the in-person events. And it was just online, and that was kind of a draw for me.
It's like, a few hundred people on there, right?
And I was like, oh, cool. Like I don't have to like drive up to Port St. Lucie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like this is.
Or in your situation, down.
Right, I always say up. I'm from South Florida.
Oh, that's true.
So for me, everything is up. Florida. So I always say I gotta drive up to. Now I have to like reset and be like, oh yeah, now everything is south of us. But yeah, so I was like, oh great, I don't have to drive down there. But I can still have a presence there.
Right.
So that was great, and then again, it was also very engaging. the group, and then you guys started doing in person stuff, and I was like, oh, and then I saw like everyone coming out and all of that. I'm like, we gotta go to we gotta start going. I think
I think it was the second one.
I think it was. I think that's where we met, because after that we also met at a workshop that Veronica Calabat was having.
Yes,
that's the second time we met.
Yeah, I think so. We went one time, and we were very like, kind of like it was our first one down there, so we were kind of like to ourselves.
Yeah,
it was a lot, and we're used to up here.
Like
much 20, smaller and intimate.
Exactly. So we were a little like, oh, there's a lot of people here, whatever. And then yes, Veronica had a workshop. She couldn't make it because it was a little later in the day, and someone had to stay home with the boys. So I went.
Yeah.
And Nick was talking about content, and I was like interested in like, well, let me see what Nick has to say, because
he's
good.
into it.
He's into it. So
it.
It's always cool to see. I'm big in
he's not an expert at it,
community over
but
competition.
He understands it.
So I don't really see a lot of like competition.
Right.
I see it as community. So if there's another videographer, freelancer, another content guy, it's like
let's collaborate.
That means there's a need for it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna grow the need, and there's gonna be enough for both of us to eat.
Yeah.
So for me,
I think every business owner should really so one of the things that I do in my practice is if there's a business owner, because I a lot of my practice primarily focuses on working with business owners in the trades, right? And medical professionals, nurse practitioners, anesthesiologists, orthopedic surgeons. That's how I built my practice in Jersey, and that's what I'm building down here. But I think that every business owner, when you're doing your books, and I'm going to say this as a shout out to you guys, but every business owner should really consider not looking at it from a dollar perspective, looking at it from a percentage of your marketing budget. So if just for easy numbers, because I'm a numbers guy, that's the only way I can really like quantify something. If you're a business who generates $1 million in net in gross revenue, part of that expense should be that a percentage is allocated to marketing. Right. So let's just call it 1%. Let's just say $100,000. Right, 1%, $1 million. Am I doing the math right? My finances are good. Okay, good. $100,000.
I'm a camera guy. Right? You're the numbers guy.
I do have a bachelor's in finance, but
there you go.
Only thing it taught me was that I don't want to do finance.
So you have 1%. Right, of $1 million, is actually $10,000, guys. 10%.
Okay.
Yeah,
see,
See, you see, I had to check
give
myself.
Give me a calculator all day.
So let's just say it's $10,000 that you're allocating towards marketing, and that could include printed. Make sure you edit that part out. Let's say, for example, you have print, right?
Yeah,
and then you have leads, right? But then you have social. So you take that $10,000 budget and you say to yourself, okay, which one has generated the highest rate of return on the business? Let's call it leads, because I typically find that leads for certain industries get them a lot more revenue in the door. But if you were to take 10% of that revenue and allocate it towards branding and marketing and video, that would open you up to a much larger audience, which will in turn lead to more leads in the funnel, more phone calls, higher revenue. So that the video and the content you're creating around the business and the branding is going to fill in that funnel of leads, and that leads is going to pay back for that budget that you set aside for the marketing. And at some point, that 1% is going to turn into 0.5%, is going to turn into 1/4%. But then eventually during your evaluation, when you see that the revenue is coming in, you're going to probably stick at the 1%, but you're just going to allocate more dollars to that as your revenue grows. Business owners really need to think out the box at this point. I mean, there's tradesmen that literally have an employee working part-time shooting from their cell phone to create content. And that branding and marketing has gotten them clients. But I think that some of them should probably level up and get a videographer to do a day in the life of an electrician, a day in the life of a roofer, a day in the life of a plumber, a day in the life of an AC tech, a day in the life of a landscaper. Like, just imagine that. We get a day in the life of a trader, a day in the life of a content creator, a day in the life of a finance person, a finance bro. I've yet to see someone do a day in the life of a tradesman. Maybe I haven't Googled it. I bet you if I do it, I'll probably find it.
It's going to show up now.
At least here, we haven't seen it.
Right.
That's just, I just think that it all commingles one way or another. There's the budgeting side of it,
right?
But there's the strategic part of side of it, and then it's
Yeah.
also fun too. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Creating content is fun.
It can be.
But your job is very difficult. The back end, the editing, and all that kind of stuff. I can't do
difficult.
that.
It's difficult from your standpoint.
Yeah.
I've lived it for my entire professional career.
Yeah.
So it's not difficult for me.
Yeah.
What's difficult for me is balancing those books.
Yeah, you see.
What's difficult for me
You see?
is getting up on the roof.
Yeah.
That's what's difficult for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The video, and I could do that all day.
It's funny because
I'll fly a drone up to the roof all day.
I've sat down with business owners who look at their P&L, right? Their cash flow, their EBITDA, their account receivables.
Right.
Those things, I see them as numbers. I mean, as reading a book.
Right.
I don't see numbers. I see it. I read left to right, and it's like I'm reading a book.
Right.
I understand it so well. I understand it so well that it becomes kind of scary when I can identify red flags, right? And granted, I'm not the Rain Man. I don't calculate nothing like that. Let's be honest. You know, as a financial advisor or as a financial planner, we're not geniuses. Let's just be clear. We're not geniuses, but some of us have a skill set that allows us to do what we do.
Yeah.
My skill set was always to understand numbers from an unemotional perspective. I never got emotional about money or numbers. Never. I have no emotional attachment to it. I could have $3 in my checking account, or I could have $600,000 in my checking account. My mood doesn't change at all. In my mind, I'll always,
we need to make that shift.
I will always be of my practice, the value I provide my clients, the conversations I'm having with them, the impact I'm making in their lives and their families and the people that they love. The money secondary, that'll always come. That I don't even focus on that. I focus on what will this plan, how will it impact your emotional being, your peace of mind. You're going to put your head on the pillow and you're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel less stress, less weight.
Yeah.
The numbers will take care of themselves.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Because we always have like the same feeling, like, oh man, where are the dollars? We're doing all this stuff, but and it's like, well, that'll come, and it's proving to be right, because it is on the way already. But we're taking up a lot. We could talk forever.
Literally.
Where can people find you?
Well, you guys can go to my my LinkedIn, right? My socials. You can look me up, Daniel Velasquez III, or you can look me up on Instagram at Danny in PSL or Danny of Danny in PSL. My Instagram.
In or of? Now that you said of, I'm not sure which one it was.
Let's look that up just to make sure, so the audience knows that they could look at Danny in PSL.
Music while I...
And you can look at me up at Facebook, Daniel Velasquez III, and Danny Velasquez, my Facebook, and also on
Danny in PSL. You were
there. You go, and then my Delilah takes care of that stuff. And then I have, of course, you can find me on the Porcelain Lucy Business Club website too. We have a full website. We have a calendar. We also have a community connector page. We have a blog, and check out our newsletter too. The Porcelain Lucy has Porcelain Lucy Business Club has a newsletter that comes out every Monday morning at 8:01 in the morning. Nice. So you could check that as well.
Yeah, and be sure, because we're not in Port St. Lucie, we're up here in Sebastian and Vero Beach. It's a great club. There are a lot of business. There are a lot of businesses from Vero and Sebastian that we've seen at the meetups and everything and online. So be sure to join the Port St. Lucie
It's been the most
Business
beneficial
Club.
of the ones we've been to.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I get a lot of feedback from that, that it's been the most beneficial. Actually, somebody put a post the other day saying that from a business perspective, being part of that, being in that room has created so much more opportunity in their business.
I agree.
But there's a lot of good stuff out there. You know, there's so many great chambers.
And it's not
Martini
just
Network.
And it's not just because of size.
No.
Because these events are big, and don't let that scare you off.
And too big can work against you sometimes.
Totally.
Well,
there's like a very, very
you guys have built a great vibe, because even though it is a big event, and there are times where it's like hundreds of people there. It's not your traditional networking meeting. It's not, hey, here's my card, what do you do, this and that.
No,
it's more of a relationship building, friends, and that
build relationships.
Just so happens that we can help each other.
You can't do business with people that you can't trust or that you don't like.
Right.
You really have to build relationships. It takes time.
Right.
I think, and I'll from the networking side of things, I'll leave it with this, that people need to understand that you need to put time into networking.
Yes.
Like, you have to absolutely be present. You have to be
Yes.
consistent. You have to
Yes.
build relationships. And not everyone is going to be the right fit for each
Right.
other. Like, it's okay to say, yeah,
Yes,
we're not the right fit to work
100%.
together.
Right.
Either we don't have the same values, belief systems, we're not strategically
Right.
aligned. That's
Yeah.
totally okay. That doesn't make you bad people.
Right.
It just means that we just can't work together because we don't vibe.
Exactly.
Find the people that will complement you, that are your power partners, your strategic alliances, that you get a good vibe from, that you could really build on, like me and Nick did.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we're completely opposite,
Right.
but our
But it
visions
works.
aligned.
Yeah.
Or that you can support each other. Even if you
Support
don't,
each other,
even
yeah.
if you're not like working together,
Yeah.
and, like dollars are exchanging, you can still support
Share their
each other.
content.
Exactly.
Share their
Man, you know,
content.
free support is just like it.
Share their
Support it.
content. Like,
Share it.
comment,
It's
subscribe.
Right.
Like,
free.
comment, subscribe. Literally,
Smash that like
smash
button.
that like button. You have to
Yes.
share their content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
don't understand that, man. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, you
It
open
is.
them up to your audience.
Correct.
And then
yeah.
they open you up to their audience.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
all part of it, man. That's all part of the evolution of networking.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. As always, if you know a business or you are a business and you want to be highlighted here on Local Lens, you can reach out to us at info@RileyBlackStudios.com, or you can just send us a DM, Riley Black Studios on Facebook and Instagram. And it's been another great episode of Local Lens.